kind of piling method, which relies on 5 or 6 workers standing together and constantly shaking their bodies to use gravity to press the piles into the soil, is generally only suitable for those soft and wet soil. And this labor-intensive human piling method is not only very inefficient, but also the piles are not strong, so it can only be used in soft and wet soil for the construction of small houses or temporary factories. In fact, the most commonly used method for soft and wet soil is the vibratory pile driving method, which is to install a high-frequency vibrating machine on excavators to loosen the surrounding soil and press the piles into the ground. In fact, vibratory piling is the most commonly used method in wet and soft soil, which is to install a high-frequency vibrator on the excavator to loosen the surrounding soil to push down the piles. For slightly harder soil, hammer piling is used, which uses a heavy hammer to repeatedly hit the top of the pile to transfer the kinetic energy into the ground to overcome the friction resistance to hammer down the piles. The large columns of offshore breakout platforms are also driven into the sea bottom by the heavy hammer. However, the most commonly used method in the construction site is the breakout piles, which means that holes are drilled by drilling equipment in the foundation and then reinforcing cages are placed in the foundation. The holes are drilled and reinforcing cages are put in and then concrete is poured in to form the piles. Since board piles can be driven to a depth of 40 to 50 meters, this is the method used for most high-rise buildings.